in terms of monitoring, is always monitoring end-to-end. Yeah? End-to-end means everything from the front right up to the back and everything in between. Because anything that can result in a failure of the particular service must have a way to alert me. Alright? So if you're looking for any monitoring tools out there, this is what you should always look for, end-to-end. Right? Not just the server, because that doesn't really help. That helps a little bit, but not fully. So this is a console of how System Standard Operations Manager looks like. So in my demo environment, so I have a server here which is hosting a couple of virtual machines. I'm actually monitoring 6 servers. So this is a view which I'm looking at to look at the overall health state of my servers. So you can see that these are the server names. So I have an SCCM server, I have the Office SharePoint server, I have the Operations Manager, I have a virtual machine, and also a DTM server. Right? So at one glance, Operations Manager actually shows you whether the server is healthy or not. Okay? So as you can see, my VMM has a critical alert. So Operations Manager has the ability to do notifications as well. So what I can do is that I can configure it to also send me an email or send me an SMS, right? When certain key critical alerts that I choose, right, then you will alert me. Right? So the nice thing about having a tool like Operations Manager is you can drill down to the root cause. So this is monitoring the server. So the minute I see that there's something wrong with my VMM, what I can do is I can actually drill down to the Health Explorer. And these are all the areas which it manages or monitors. And you notice that it is telling me that there is something wrong with my availability. And in particular, drilling down the root cause, which is SQL Server Reporting Services. So immediately, it cuts down a little bit of my troubleshooting time, because it already tells me that SQL Reporting Services is down. Okay. Now, if I click on that, the nice thing is it has a little description. I don't know about you. In the past, what I normally do for troubleshooting is that I see a log file or I see an ID. Then what do? You take some form of a description, then you go to I can't say. No. Bing.com. Right? So you go to a search engine, whichever you prefer, type in some keywords and then try and look for it, right? Yeah. So the nice thing is at least Operations Manager gives me a starting point. So for example, it gives me a summary about why is this alert being caused. Because there's this monitor uses WMI to check. These are the possible causes. Service was probably stopped by an administrator, some exceptions that was being encountered. And there's a possible resolution here as well. So there is at least starting point on how you can troubleshoot the error. Going to the next tab here, you can actually see the error itself, when did it happen, what day, what time, and the actual alert ID. Right? So if you prefer to look at event logs, then you can look at it here. Right? It describes you in more detail. Okay? Now, I'm not going to resolve that for now. I'm going to share with you something else. Let me give you another view here. So this is a view which you can see all the alerts that comes from all your servers. Okay? Now, let me just share with you another one. So if you click on this, at the bottom here, you'll see an alert description. And let me just double click and show you a bigger screen. So there's something called product knowledge, which again, it shows you possible causes, the resolutions. And the nice thing about it is, some of it has even what we call additional information. So it actually shares with you what to do to investigate. So to investigate this message, go to this, and go to this, and try and see what the log messages are. Okay? So in a nutshell, for me, when it comes to troubleshooting, knowledge is key. Right? So many servers, there's so many different parts of IT. I can tell you honestly today, I know nuts about SharePoint. Right? I'm not a SharePoint administrator. But if I'm not a SQL administrator, but at least it gives me a starting point on how to look for problems. Or rather, at least I know how to describe to my SQL administrator. Rather than, hey, something wrong with SQL. At least now I can X mark. I call my secret message, oh, by the way, there's reporting services at this, right? This, wow. Okay. Now, let me show you something related to SharePoint. Okay. So I have a folder here called Office SharePoint Servers. I have a view here that I can see the state of my SharePoint servers, which I have 2 currently. And let me click on, go to this one. So you can see the general health of my SharePoint service, which is okay. I can check whether there's any alerts on it, which is fine. I don't see any alerts. I have a diagram view here, which is quite useful. Right? So this is some parts of the end-to-end I'm talking about. So on my server, I can actually drill down to see the services which is relating to my SQL server. Right? So I can see the database. Right? So how's my database performing? I can see everything that's related to my service. Right? And I can see also everything which is related to Windows. Because, well, at the end of the day, any application that you run relies on your operating system. So from an application standpoint, this is an end-to-end monitoring of the application, from OS to all the related components. Okay, so at least I know that if one of these things go down, which I'll show you in a minute, at least I will know how it affects the whole entire ecosystem. Right? Now let's go on to reporting. So how does reporting actually work here? So there's a couple of reports here. I'm going to show you one here. Let's take, okay, operating system performance. Let's take a look at the performance of operating system. Give me a second, it takes a while to load. I'm actually running 6 virtual servers in the same time. That's my micro server, mini server, whatever I call it. Let's run a report from last week, Monday till today, and let's take a look at all our Windows servers. Now, in the interest of time, I pre-generated this report, and generally this is what you see. So this is a view of the operating system performance of all your Windows Server 2003. You can actually drill down into individual machines. Right? So these reports are very useful. Right? Why? Because I can actually schedule these reports to be done, let's say, on a weekly basis. So let's say I schedule it such that this report goes into an email every Monday morning. Right? So at least I can see in a nutshell how's my server performance in terms of processor time, the available megabytes of memory, the logical disk free space, and so on. Okay? And notice that you can actually export this report into